A fresh release from Breitling in 2024. This was the commemorative edition for the 140th anniversary of Breitling, and this one is the B12 Navitimer 40 Cosmonaute. All the details coming up. Now you think you might understand what the space race was all about. The US and Russia trying to get to space and to the moon first, but the real space race was between the Swiss watch companies trying to get their watch in space first. And even though the Breitling Navitimer had already established itself as the pilot watch from the 1950s, the space race was still on between Breitling and that other company who made it to the moon and has used that for marketing purposes to no end ever since. But this watch, the Breitling Navitimer, Scott Carpenter was an American astronaut, and he commissioned a bespoke version of the watch for his trip to space. And it was called a Cosmonaute because instead of having a regular 12-hour dial, it has a 24-hour dial. So what we mean by that is the hour hand only goes around once every 24 hours instead of twice. So you have to learn a new way to tell time. Like, for example, the watch right now is reading about 11 a.m. Though you wouldn't think so just from glancing at it. You would think that that's almost 6 p.m., but it's about 11. And the reason is that the 12 noon marker is at the 6 o'clock position, and the midnight marker is at the noon position. So if you glanced down at your watch and you thought it looked like 3 o'clock, that would actually be 6 a.m. So it's a very interesting watch. Don't let that throw you. It's a really cool idea behind the watch. Of course, it's a chronograph as well. And this one's a vertical clutch chronograph, so you can run the chronograph all the time. And I love these vintage pushers that have no kind of guards or screw downs or anything around them. It works just like a standard chronograph, start, stop, and reset. You do have the 3 subdials for the running seconds, the minutes, and the hours. And of course, the flight computer that you can turn the circular slide rule here as well. Now this one's in 18 karat rose gold. The big change between this one and Scott Carpenter's watch is that the markers, the hour markers, are in the same matching rose gold rather than printed on the dial in some other material. The dial is described as green. It is a very subtle green. It really, for the most part, looks black when you look at it in most lights. But when you turn it the right way in the light, you'll be able to pick up that hint of green. But don't think of this as a bright, bold green dial. It does have the exhibition caseback, so you can see that in-house Breitling B12 movement. Beautifully decorated, the Cote de Genève, all the things that you would expect from them. And then the caseback is also engraved, with this being the first Swiss wristwatch in space. So it did beat out Wally Schirra's Speedmaster by about 5 months. And so that's commemorated on the back with the date. Scott Carpenter circled the Earth 3 times and then splashed down with this watch on. So he really made history and really chiseled this watch's place in space history as well. So that's commemorated on the caseback. There were only 250 of these made. So it does have the designation on the back that this is one of 250. And it really puts you in an exclusive club if you pick up this watch from SwissWatchExpo, because 250 people worldwide will get the chance to own this watch, and it's a real beauty. We definitely give it our thumbs up here at SwissWatchExpo.